A grandmother begs to stay in her grandson's life, but what the judge reveals about the child's living conditions leaves the entire courtroom stunned. Rats crawling on a special needs child, dangerous conditions inside the home, and a desperate fight to avoid a no-contact order. Will the court give her another chance, or decide that the child's safety comes first? Stay until the end to hear the judge's shocking decision.
Whether witnesses are present or not has no bearing on my decision on whether or not I'll allow you to withdraw your plea. Do you understand? You need to say yes. All right. So the court heard evidence on the defendant's request to have his plea withdrawn. We had a hearing. Uh, is there any further argument from either side before the court makes its decision on that?
Judge, I think the evidence that we had last time spoke for itself. Mr. Pena testified that he never met with his attorney, that there was no discussion of any kind of regarding self-defense. And we have 2 jail calls from prior to his plea where he says that he was going to plead self-defense. I think that the deception that the defendant is trying to pull in the court is very evident. I think that should be weighed against him, and they get on his motion that says that he had no knowledge about self-defense or whether it could be pled or parameters or things like that.
I would just remind the court the testimony that while there might have been discussions of self-defense, not until the actual day of the plea did they actually discuss the legalities of it. And more importantly, as was testified from the other lawyer, my client wasn't allowed to see, there's videos of this offense. He wasn't allowed to see those until he was in the box on the day he was set for trial, and then forced to make a decision at that point. So in addition to the self-defense claim, I'm very concerned about his lack of ability to make a fair and just decision, having not had an ample time to review the discovery with his attorney outside of this jury box prior to the day he was set. And when the jury, as I understand it, the jury was in the hall or something similar to that. So for those reasons, we ask the court to grant the defendant's motion to withdraw his plea.
All right. Defense motion to allow the defendant to withdraw the plea will be denied. Defense, are you prepared to proceed to sentence?
If I can just go over the PSI briefly with my client.
Yeah.
Give it a couple of minutes.
All right. Thank you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right. You can lower your hand, state your name for the record. All right. You may proceed.
Thank you for being here, Mr. Vega. What is your relationship to Miss Lopez?
I'm her son, firstborn.
And how about to Stephen Gonzalez?
I'm his father.
Okay, so she's Stephen's grandmother, right?
Yes.
And is it safe to say she's been involved with him his whole life?
Yes.
And how old is he?
It's 11.
Okay. And how's the relationship been over the past 11 years?
They have a good relationship. From the moment he was born, he required special attention, special needs. He was born with a birth defect. And she's been there throughout the whole process, through the surgeries. To the point where when he finishes surgeries, going to school, picking him up, taking him home through grade school, she's been a big part of that process when me and his mom had to work. So at home, they've always been close, spending a lot of time together.
So would you say that she helps out like kind of with day-to-day things, like picking them up from school and that sort of thing?
Yes.
And would it cause hardship for you and Stephen if she weren't able to help out around the house and that sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any concerns at all about her seeing Stephen or spending time with Stephen?
No.
Do you want this court to put a no contact order?
No.
So you want her in his life the way that she has been throughout his life, correct?
Yes.
Pass.
Good morning, Mr. Vega. Just a quick question. Mr. Vega, were you aware of the defendant's home conditions when this incident happened?
No.
Did you make any efforts to make sure that your kid was safe at the defendant's house?
Beginning, yes.
What happened next?
Good.
Okay, so did anyone else raise any concerns about the defendant's house? So you never went to the defendant's house whenever the case was dropped?
So when it comes to getting him from to and from school, my mom would pick him up. On the earlier stages of his life, I wasn't around in that house a lot. It was the same house that I grew up in, and I was always out working and having time to figure out my own place to stay. So a lot of it had to do with me just not wanting to be in that house because my parents were there and my dad. But when I would show up to that house when he was a lot younger, um, I had no concerns of that, of whatever transpired. So
Okay. And are you aware of the defendant's home conditions as they exist now?
am I aware of it now?
Yes. Not the home conditions as they exist now. Correct. Right.
Yes.
And have those conditions changed?
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
Because I talked to my mom. She says she's done stuff around the house to make it better than what it was in the day.
Okay, so based on what you know, can you assure this court that the child will be safe around the defendant's house?
I already talked to his mom, and I don't want him nowhere in the house. I don't want him at the house, but if, as far as like the no contact, like me and his mom agreed that if for whatever reason she wanted to get in contact with him, it would have to be at his mom's place. That we have to be notified first, and it has to be at her place. No question. As far as anywhere involved in that house, I do not want him nowhere in that house. Period.
Any further questions?
Yes, so as far as the conditions of the house, you say that they've improved. To the best of your knowledge, would you say that the conditions of the house were caused by the defendant or perhaps someone else that was living there at the time?
It'd be both.
Okay. No further questions, John.
I have a few questions. There are no objections.
No objections.
All right, so I'm trying to consider whether or not there should be contact or not. And you said something when you were being questioned about you didn't want to be at the house. Is there a reason for that?
So growing up in that house, I had a lot of issues with my dad. We used to get into it back and forth. I have a whole juvenile deal that can validate that. And it's like when I look at the house, I see everything.
All right, and then the other question that was asked for you, and I'm just trying to follow up. When you said you think her house is different than it was at the date of the offense, have you been by the house? So you haven't seen it personally.
No, that's just from what I've heard. I feel that, because of everything that's transpired, she wants to be in his life. Like she wants to fix everything, but it starts there first.
So this is what I can tell you. Are you aware of what the conditions were like in that house?
The day that I was notified when everything happened,
Because the child that's listed in this, was that your child? All right. So are you aware, and this is my concern, and this is why I'm trying to figure things out and have issues with contact with her. Because according to this, it says that rats were crawling around him and on him and biting him,
yeah,
and that there are feces throughout the house. And that's the condition that she had him in according to the stipulations. So I just don't think contact with her is a good thing, because it's sort of, if you have this situation, how are you allowing rats to crawl on a child, and bite a child, and you have feces in the house? And when you have feces in the house and it's rats, people have died from that, because there's some kind of fumes that the feces gives off, and it's just not sanitary at all. And what you're telling me is that this child is special needs. So I don't think contact is appropriate, and I want you to understand why. Now, maybe after she completes parenting and does other things, and I'm going to have probation do field visits at her house to see how it is, because sometimes people will clean up for the time being, and then 3 months later, it's back the way it was before. And so those issues need to be addressed as far as mentally. Why did she allow her house to be this way? And why is Child Protective Services not concerned? Those are questions I have. Okay? But thank you so much for coming down to testify. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Fire Final Hook Plus Subscribe CTA. What do you think? Did the judge make the right decision, or should the grandmother have been allowed to maintain contact with her grandson? Share your opinion in the comments below. If you enjoy real courtroom cases, legal drama, and shocking judge rulings, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next courtroom breakdown. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next case.